Hello, my vibrant friend. So good to be here with you today. Today we are talking about, with your weight loss, break it down. It's January in Minnesota. It's been kind of a weird year. The whole country just south and east of us has been having storm after storm after storm. And we have a little bit of snow with, little pieces of grass poking up in between. And it's very strange for us for January. But on the upside, our paths are clear, so I can go for a walk with my dog. And it's easy and not slippery. And I'm thankful for that, especially since we don't actually get to pick the weather, right? So I love working with all of you all over the country. It's funny this time of year when everyone's weather is so drastically different. All right, so we're going to break it down. Sometimes when we're on a weight loss journey, it's really easy to just put that flag out there and say, this is the weight that I want to be, and walk toward it. And sometimes we put that flag out there and we think, wow, that's far, or wow, that's going to be hard, or boy, it's hard to see even where I threw that flag down. So when this happens, we just break it down. Let me give you a couple of analogies and hopefully that will help. I'm kind of a junkie for like year-end lists and start fresh with the new year lists. And I've been noticing there's a lot of finance people out there on this new year. How do you want to take care of your finances this year? And one I was noticing was talking about debt, and in particular, credit card debt. And they didn't say to quit spending all at once. They said, let's break it down. So there was the choice of paying off the credit card that had the smallest balance so that you felt like you had a win right away. And then there was another choice to start eating away at the card that had the highest interest rate. And this blogger kind of gave people the choice of either one, but just to choose, break it down so that you can do it piece by piece to get to your goal. I thought that was pretty cool because sometimes people who have lots of credit card debt, it just seems overwhelming, right? And same with weight loss. It can seem overwhelming if we have a lot that we want to lose, or if some of it seems difficult, like you're on the last 7 pounds, or you have a difficult eating situation that you have a hard time controlling. So breaking it down into smaller pieces can be helpful. I'll give you another example. Exercise. If you decided you wanted to run a 5K race, you put that goal out there. You can picture yourself at the race day with your shirt on and your tennis shoes laced up. Maybe you're running with a friend, but for the very first day, you don't run 5K. There are lists on the internet that are hilariously wonderful. Couch to 5K in 16 weeks, where you've started at 0 and you're going to get to the 5K. And when you look at the first week, it's actually walking and walk to run, with lots of rest and not very long distances. But that is how you get to the 5K race. My husband and I had an experience. We had our 30-year anniversary this year. And this summer we went to Banff and Lake Louise area. It was kind of a bucket list trip for us, and we love to hike. So we were at the base of Lake Louise, and we had decided to hike the glacier area. There are multiple glaciers, and on one side of the area, there are hiking paths. So we could literally stand at the base of the lake and look and see where we were going. And then we just went. So in that direction, it was easy for us to, in our minds, put a flag at the top and then just start walking and see what came. Some of it was paved, some of it was steep, some of it we were out exposed and in a lot of sun and needed hats. Parts of it we were, under cover of trees. There was a tea house up there that had a vegetarian lunch. So, we could just kind of go that way, and it worked great. And we got to the very top. We sat, we took pictures, we felt our sore muscles and just kind of basked in enjoying being at that point. In fact, when we were there, we got to see one of the glaciers calve off some pieces. We got to watch all this ice and gravel drop. I mean, it was wonderful and dramatic and beautiful. And then we decided it was time to go down. And I looked down and I could see Lake Louise from there, but it seemed far now. And I felt the muscles in my legs kind of felt a little wobbly because I don't normally do mountain hiking all the time. And I just thought, wow, now we got to go back. But very naturally, I just broke it down. I looked, and the first, 50 yards that we had was this gravelly, kind of steep area. And I thought, well, okay, how do I want to, take this first gravelly part? It's going to be kind of slippery going down. So, I thought about which path I was going to take to get there and kind of noted where it ended. So in my mind, I put the flag just at the end of the gravelly, slippery part. And then I got there and I thought, okay, here we are. There's a lot of people. How am I going to get around? It looks like I'm going to have to balance a little bit on these logs and also not get in the way of other people's pictures. And I could see where I was going to get back to the tree cover area. So I did that. And then I got there and I thought, okay, now I'm near the tea house. Do I want to use the bathroom there? And my husband and I went through that area again. And so we kind of did it more piece by piece. There were some areas that we just kind of glided through because they didn't seem difficult, but sometimes we would look ahead and strategize because going down is oftentimes more dangerous than going up. And so piece by piece, we got there, and piece by piece, we got down to the paved path that's near the lake and got back down to the lake again, where then my husband and I put our legs in the ice water of Lake Louise because we were pretty sore by then. But as you can see, depending on how you're feeling, depending on how the landscape looks ahead of you, breaking it down can really be a helpful way to go. I highly recommend that you do this with your weight loss. If you feel like I see the end, I'm just going to walk toward it, then you do that. But sometimes it's not as easy as that. I talked to a recent client who had gained a little weight over the holidays, and we talked about, well, what do you want to do this week? And she said, I'd like to lose 1 to 2 pounds. And I asked her how she wanted to do that. And she was going to eat 3 meals. She wasn't going to have any snacks at night. She was going to have dessert once, and she wasn't going to eat any bread. And she said, that will be a good way for me to lose 1 to 2 pounds over the next week. So she did that. And it worked. Now, sometimes we need to break it down even smaller. Sometimes we want to look at just today. I personally had quite a bit of sugar over the holidays, which does happen to me. And it was even more than I expected because we had a wonderful family that came to visit and brought all sorts of wonderful goodies with them. So when I decided to really get off the sugar again, which if you've been listening, you know that I do this probably every few months. And it was enough of a struggle that I just actually did it one day at a time. Today only, I'm not going to have sugar. No dessert, none of the Christmas candy that's still sitting on the counter. Today, I'm going to eat my meals and not have any sugar. And it worked very well for me. In fact, I even did it so slowly that I decided, well, tomorrow I'm going to have dessert. And then the next day again, day 3, it was like, okay, no sugar today. And then when I looked at day 4, I thought, I can do no sugar tomorrow again. I'm really happy with that decision. So breaking it down really in small increments was helpful for me to get back on track with healthy eating. Because by the end of the week, I felt good. I wasn't craving a candy cane. So I was able to get off sugar by going really small amounts at a time. So if you're thinking, well, what am I going to do? Just think about what is the next right step for you? Is it 1 pound? Is it some sort of food that you know isn't serving you on your weight loss journey that you want to have less of? Like me with the sugar, maybe with you it's French fries at the work cafeteria. I don't know. There's something there. Is there something that you've noticed that you're thinking, I'm not actually getting enough protein to lose weight? And maybe today or tomorrow, I just need to get enough protein with each of my meals. Make sure I'm having a serving about the size of my palm with each meal. And that can be a very nice, small way to break it down. Then after you get good at that, then you say, I'm not having a serving of vegetables with all my meals. So maybe I can start making sure I have a scoop of vegetables along with my protein at all the meals. And then when you get from there, then maybe it's something else you tackle. What is the next thing that you need to do right now? This is a great way to get rid of overwhelm, because overwhelm is real, right? We feel it. It all seems so hard and so heavy. And the flag that we've put into the ground seems far now. And the way is uncertain. And just seems like there's just so much. And that's how we all know that's how overwhelm feels. But sometimes just taking the next step that I need to do, and that's all I need to do first, then that really helps with that feeling of overwhelm. If you consider it, like I could have written out when I wanted to climb that glacier mountain area with my husband, we could have written out all the steps. And if it was feeling overwhelming, we could have, just taken them one at a time. But we didn't need that. But on the way down, we did. So we took the steps and knew that there was the gravelly area, and then the open, crowded area, and then the area near the tea house, and then the area in the woods. And when we felt overwhelmed, we said, okay, let's just do this next step. Let's just get through this slippery, gravelly area. Let's just get through the area that has a lot of people and not a lot of space. And then it didn't feel scary, the idea of making it all the way down to the lake. So do this with your weight loss journey if it feels like a lot. And just like when my husband and I went down the mountain, there were areas that seemed easy. And so we didn't need to do that. But as you go, you've got that flag at your goal, and go ahead and allow yourself to break it down and just do the next steps. Don't worry about getting to the flag. Just worry about getting that next step. So I hope I've given you some good ideas today. I feel like a lot of people get overwhelmed in January about the weight loss too. Like, I did so much over the holidays and it all seems like so much and so difficult. But like I said, you can break it down. Thanks so much for being with me today. I'm going to end there, but I do want to let you know that Vibrant Weight Loss for professional women over age 50 is open now. So please reach out to me. A good place to find me is on LinkedIn. If you go to my website, heatherawadmd.com, there's a spot there to reach out and have a meeting with me. I'd be happy to talk to you about what your next steps are. Why do people work with me? I think the number one thing is accountability. They want to get there faster. They want to, as they're walking down that mountain, they want a guide with them who says, oh, around the corner, is the area of the slippery gravel, so that, with a guide, you can get places faster and more easily. So that's why people work with me. Otherwise, I look forward to talking to you again on the next podcast.